Hey everybody, and welcome to How to Roll Dice for this week's episode of Themeless Thursday. I'm Josh.
I'm Brian.
And this week we wanted to talk about a new game application that we've actually been using on our phones.
It's been pretty fun.
Yeah, it's been pretty solid. So, and then on top of that, some more podcast changes. But I guess we'll get that out of the way first.
Yeah, you want to do the podcast
So,
changes.
I know you guys care so much about these. But again, you can see we've sort of shifted back to our original positioning. I had a little bit of trouble getting the background to look the way that I wanted it to for cinematography reasons that you guys probably don't care about, but leading lines and angled lighting and things just weren't working for me. So we have some new lighting for today. I don't know if you guys can see it, but we've got a lovely overhead ring light that might be reflecting in our eyes and making us beautiful. And I've now looked at it too directly, so now I can't see you, which is great.
I'm always beautiful.
Yeah, I know. You've had that mood glow lighting for your entire life. We've also tried to reposition our mic a little bit better, which you guys can't see, but it's right here.
Yeah.
And in general, again, we're just trying to get this to more of a professional quality. We actually purchased some new software, a couple of plugins
so
for
that's
our
gonna be
main
a lot
editor.
easier for editing.
Yeah, so we're trying to get this to look legit. And for those of you that are just enjoying the audio podcast that I've been a little sluggish on updating, I'm sorry, I'll try to get on top of it. None of this matters to you. So I hope the audio quality is good. If you're getting any strange clicks or buzzes or background electronic hum, let me know. I will try to clean that out. Earlier today, actually before you got here, I didn't mention this to you, but I have a drop cloth that you can use as a background. I used to use it for some of my my YouTube videos. And I tried running that across the back of the room.
Yeah.
But all it did was make the whole room feel claustrophobic, whether or not I set it to white or black.
That's weird.
So it was, I had it nailed up to the wall. I was trying to drape it and fold it so it looked nice. And it just made it look like we were sitting against like a white wall. And like there's no background.
What we need is a green screen.
A green screen? You can buy them. They're super cheap. And then all you do is chroma key out the green and you have
and then we can look like we're like in Hawaii.
What is that? That's from a movie, Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyways, that's podcast changes. Again, I know you don't care, but I just want you guys to know that we're trying. We're trying to improve.
We are trying.
Moving on to this new app that we mentioned. I came across this because as much as we've decided to focus on War Machine and Hordes and some other small, a board game here or there, I do miss having a weekly RPG.
Yeah.
Just because, sure, you get burnt out on it. I know you got burnt out on. We ran IK for like a year.
I got burnt out on it because we went from IK from a full year to a new world that was a brand new world. So that was a little rough on my mind. And like if we would have taken like a month off, it probably would have been fine.
Yep.
But now I guess we're doing that whole 2-month system where we play something for 2 months.
We never really decided on it.
Yeah,
but
so.
I feel like we've definitely shifted away from a weekly RPG. We don't have one right now, or we didn't, anyways. And I miss that because I have always been a GM. I used to feel like, I wish I could play a character once. Like I never get to actually play, but I've sort of gotten used to it, and now I like world building and creating. I can create NPCs, so I can still sort of make characters as I choose. But I really like world building and coming up with settings and even mechanics. I've developed entire games what would you call them? Systems.
Yeah.
The one that we were playing before we stopped was a game system that I developed that I do want to pick up again at some point. I'd put maybe 30, 40 hours into that, and the rule book's at about 100 pages right now with no fluff.
And it was a good game. Like I said, I think we all got a little like, okay, let's just take a break.
Yeah. We had been going at it for a long time with like no pause, and it just got to the point where it's like, oh, it's Saturday, time to spend another 6 hours in this RPG, like, and we can't do anything else because we promised each other we would do this RPG. So.
And we kind of like it was kind of doing all of us a disservice because we all spent so much money on.
Yeah,
all
we were
these
really getting into
games.
War Machine and Hordes and building out our armies and painting and starting to play like Theory Machine and stuff.
We're all spending like hundreds and hundreds of dollars to never play it.
To not get to play.
Yeah.
So anyways, took a step away from RPGs. I felt like I was missing it. So I started poking around and seeing if there was a way to run an RPG sort of something like a Roll20, but where you didn't have to be at a computer because you're in an armored truck all day.
Yeah.
If we have a couple friends, like one is a head chef in a kitchen who can occasionally glance at his phone if he chooses. Another that works with you is an armored truck driver. Another friend is a real estate agent who's constantly in his car going between showings and home office and main office.
So it's kind of hard for all of us to like pull up a laptop.
Right, like nobody's at a computer except me. And even then, I travel a lot for work. So I'm on a plane, I'm in and out of airports, at different hospitals around the country working on systems. So I am not even capable of constantly sitting at a screen and typing out dialogue or anything like that. So I was basically looking to see if there was something like a mobile Roll20 style app where it was mostly text-based, something with a dice roller built into it, not even a graphic dice roller, just something that spit out numbers. I know that's something that Google Hangouts has, but then Google Hangouts doesn't really have any other supporting features to playing an RPG.
Right, yeah.
And we're all using WhatsApp. And I thought maybe WhatsApp would have a dice roller built into it, but it doesn't.
Which is weird that you would think they would.
Yeah, I think it's owned by Facebook. It got bought out by Facebook, and Facebook isn't very... They're not like Google where they're trying to put in as many cool little things that you can do.
Right.
But they're just like, we just want it to be a mobile texting app. That's it. So anyways, I did download, there is a mobile Roll20. I don't know if you remember Roll20. I tried it one time. It's a really well-built website where you can run an online game with any system you want.
Okay.
And it's, you can create character sheets, you can upload character sheets, you can create fluff. You can add people to it, and you can even do live maps while you're playing. So, like, you guys would actually see a map on your screen, and I can move things on that map, and you'd see it move on you. It's very cool. And I was like, if there's a mobile version of that, even a dumbed-down mobile version, that would be great. They do have a mobile version. All it does is bring you to the website version, which then doesn't work properly on your phone.
On mobile, yeah.
So I don't even know what the point of that is. Roll20, you're spectacular, but... just
sort your life out.
Yeah, delete that thing if that's all it's going to be. I mean, maybe on a tablet it works. Honestly, when you open it and you click, like you open the app and you click to log in, it just brings you to the Roll20 website, which doesn't even format to a mobile screen. Like I had to scroll sideways to see the login button. It doesn't even fit on your phone. And I have a giant Galaxy Note.
You open up the app, you push it, punches you in the face, phone blows up.
It's just not a great experience.
Now you're in debt somehow.
So I started poking around online, couldn't find anything in the App Store, the Google Play Store, and I was online, and I don't know what brought me to it, but I came across this app called mRPG, as in mobile RPG. And the icon looked surprisingly like the WhatsApp bubble. It's like, if you've ever seen the WhatsApp bubble, it's just a little word bubble. It looked just like that, except it's purple, and it has like a D20 on it, and like plus and minus symbols, and a little pencil, like it's, all little...
It's like a fate.
Little RPG symbols.
Yeah.
And so... I downloaded that and I started taking a look at it, and it's actually perfect. It's exactly what I wanted. It's a text-based RPG utility tool that you can GM from and also add your friends to. You can create your own custom character sheets by selecting, entering in what kind of fields you want it to have. And I shouldn't do this because it's really this, because it's done entirely on your phone. You don't need to do anything on a PC. And so as the GM, as I decided I was going to be, because I started working on this before I even talked to anybody else about it, created a character sheet. I based it off the Fate core rule system. If you guys know that, it's basically fudge dice.
Plus and minuses.
Plus or minuses, yeah. Super straightforward system. Doesn't have any specific lore or storyline set to it. It's just a utility style system that gives you the basis of what you need to run an RPG, and you can apply it to any setting you want. And you can modify it in any way you want very easily. There are tons of companion books for it that here's how you would do giant robots. Here's how you would do magic, like all kinds of stuff. But,
the one thing I always liked about the Fate system is that if you can explain why it is, then it is.
Right. It's very story driven from both your RPG, from your role players' perspective and from your GM's perspective.
Yeah.
So the whole idea of the game is basically, I am going to throw my photon grenade. Oh, you didn't say you had photon grenades. Oh, I forgot to mention, my character always packs photon grenades because one time they saved their life. So now they're just paranoid about it, and they always bring at least one. And there's a point economy in the game called Fate Points, where your players begin each game with 3, sometimes less, depending on how they build their character. And they can give your GM one of those Fate Points and basically say, hey, that story point I just said is true, and hands you a Fate Point. And the GM just goes, you're right, it is. So your character pulls out one of their photon grenades that they've always carried.
And on hindsight, the GM can also go, are you sure you have a metal arm? Because I don't think you have a metal arm. You're like, and here's a Fate Point if you don't have a metal arm.
I think you forgot to attach your metal arm this morning. You left it charging on your nightstand.
And it's like, shit,
and the player can either take it and go, you know what? I did forget my metal arm this morning, and they gain a Fate Point, which they could then use later.
I got my Billy Club arm.
Or they could decline it, but to decline, you actually have to pay the GM a Fate Point. So not only are you gaining the one that you're not gaining the one you would have if you had accepted that penalty, but you're losing one.
Yeah.
So it's like a double whammy.
But that's always been one of my
that's
my
the
favorite
Fate system.
systems.
It's very easy to run for me. I could run it blindfolded. I don't need the rule book. I've learned it inside and out, and it's so easy that to explain it to a new player, it's like, what are the mechanics of the game? You say what you want to do, and then we decide if you do it like that. There are dice involved, but they're 6-sided dice and they're fudge dice. So 2 of the sides have a plus symbol on them, 2 of them have a minus symbol on them, and 2 of them are blank. And you always roll 4. That number never shifts. So you roll 4 dice, and basically the pluses mean your score goes up 1, and the minuses mean your score goes down 1, and the blanks mean nothing changes. So you have base stats like. I forget the original list. I think has 18 base stats.
Yeah, the original list is a lot.
It's melee, athletic, or combat, range, athletics, computers use, search, things like that. And so you assign points to those, and then when you roll, say you have a base skill of 2, and you roll plus, minus, minus, blank. Well, one of the plus and one of the minuses cancel out. The other minus drops your ability score by 1, so you go from a 2 to a 1. And then the blank does nothing.
And then 1 is your final score.
And then 1 is your final score. And there's basically a scale where a score of 0 is a mediocre result. A score of 1 is an average result. 2 is a good result. 3 is a great result. 4 is a superior result. And it goes all the way up to like a score of 10 is godly or something like that.
Yeah, and
your GM just decides like, okay, you did good. You were trying to deceive and you did good. What does that mean? Yeah. Or you were trying to deceive and you did like very poorly is like a -2, or abysmally is like a -5.
And then there's sometimes where you're like, oh, you did so well. How do you do that? And it's up to you as a character to
succeed with style.
Succeeding with style is like you can actually just explain well, I punch him, but then he falls backwards, and then somehow he just turns on the switch that we needed to turn on.
Right.
And if the GM goes, that sounds like a damn good idea. Yeah. Hey, that happens.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's basically you do exactly what you wanted to do. Plus a little extra because you did it so well.
And then rocks fall and everybody dies.
And then rocks fall and everyone dies. Or the rust monster touches your level 12 magical item and it just incinerates it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's Fate. And I decided I wanted to run Fate because Fate is simple. So using this new app that I found, mRPG, and I'm just going to say this now, I would highly recommend, if you're a GM or even if you're a player, download this app and try it. It's spectacular. But let me get into a little more detail.
It's a fun app.
I made out a character sheet. Based in the Fate rules. And I also sort of dumbed it down a little bit. There's only 8 skills, and they're sort of general. They cover the full spectrum. So you've got strength, dexterity. You've got verbal skill, which will cover all of your deception, your rapport, your...
Mange and Rayleigh.
Melee and ranged. Manged and Rayleigh.
Manged and Rayleigh.
Yes. Melee and ranged for combat. And then I put in a general engineering skill because we're playing in a sci-fi setting, as I decided. So no magic or anything. So I sort of used engineering in place of arcana because it's going to be that sort of ability or skill that puts you in a special place beyond the average citizen, where if you know enough about engineering, you almost see magic. Like you can pick up a laptop and plug it into a circuit and just start typing stuff, and all of a sudden all the doors unlock. That's almost like magic in a high sci-fi setting. So anyways, shorter skill list, simple character sheet. And then I basically went on our group chat on WhatsApp, and I said, hey, everybody download this app and make an account and give me your account name. And so 3 or 4 people did. Mm-hmm. I plugged the account names in as the GM, and those people can now see my game chat. And you name basically the chat thread. So you name the chat thread the name of the game. And so once people are in there, they can start, posting on the chat. And when you post as you. So like your thing would say Bryant, your friend Chris, his would say Chris. And
until you choose whether or not you
until you make a character.
Yeah.
So what I do is I give each player a character sheet. I go into the app as the GM. I create a blank character sheet and I assign to Bryant or I assign to Chris, and they can then see and edit that character sheet, and they can see all the fields that I assign to that character sheet. And when you're assigning fields, when you're creating a character sheet, you can even choose: is this field a number? Is this field a short text box for something like a name or a title? Is this field a long text box for something where there needs to be a few sentences, almost like a short paragraph? And so you can really make your character sheet look the way you want it to. And so they went in, they filled out their character sheets. They said, oh, I made a character sheet. This is my character's name. And so then I go and, looking at the chat, I can actually switch right next to the text bar where you would click to start typing. There is a little picture symbol. And by default, it has my picture in it that I gave my account when I made an account. So when I'm typing that, I'm talking out of game as me. If I click that little picture symbol, it opens up a little bar, and on that bar, there's a book symbol, and then a smaller text field where I can type in a new name. So if I click the book symbol and then I type in text and hit send, it shows in all black and it lists it as spoken by the GM instead of by Josh. So that's like my in-game, my GM voice. So that's how you talk in and out of game. And for these guys...
It's your big boy voice.
It's my big boy voice. And for these guys, they have the same thing. They see their personal profile picture when they're typing, or they can click it and select the picture they chose for their character sheet. And when they type in that, it'll actually say their character's name, and it will highlight that entire word block. Instead of black like my GM, it'll highlight it whatever color they select.
Yeah.
It lets you pick from a color block of like 15 different colors. So I think Chris is red.
And I'm orange.
You're orange. Jim is green right now. So it makes it super easy when you're sort of skimming back through the chat to be like, oh, who were we talking to yesterday when we were in that cave and we were trying to find and so you only have to look for colors. Like you know your color, you know everybody else's color, and you know I'm black. So you can find stuff really quickly. And so it makes it really easy to pop in and out of character. So you can like switch back to you out of character and be like, hey, what were we going to do if we, have to go to lunch? Are we all just going to stop playing? Or are we still going to play through lunch? Or what? And we'll be, well, let's take a break and we'll come back after lunch. Okay, cool. And then you hop back into character and you go, I want to throw my bat at that guy's head. It keeps it clear of who's talking in and out of character when.
And it's nice. It's a very clean app. Yep. Very, very easy to use, very easy to maintain.
Yep. Another good thing is, and I feel like this is vital to making it a real RPG chat system, is obviously it has a dice roller built in. So for example, to roll fate dice, to roll a d6, you would say, you would type, it's / / say 2d6 / / So the dual slashes open and close the dice roll command. So you would say / / 4df, capital F, and that's 4 dice fate. So 4 fate dice.
Right.
And it rolls 4 fate dice, and it automatically makes them plus or minuses, and it gives you the end result. It just spits that out. It doesn't even show the / command that you gave it. It just gives you the result. What you can do is you can build hashtags, which are sort of macro commands. And I, as the GM, can build them that the entire group can use. Or players individually, which you guys haven't bothered to do yet because I've sort of been taking care of it.
Right.
Can build their own macro commands. And so what those turn into is you type in hashtag and then whatever you want the command to be, and then you tell it what you want it to enter. So for example, if I want somebody in my group to be able to make a strength check, strength being one of our skills.
We would do hashtag
strength. And I wrote the macro that says when somebody types hashtag strength, what I want you to actually input is / / 4df / plus, and then inside of colons, you put the attribute from their character sheet that you want it to pull. And so I put in colons strength. So when they type hashtag strength, which is what I named the macro, it's actually going to type in roll 4 fate dice and add strength from the character sheet of the person typing this macro. So him or Chris or whatever.
One of the cool things that I like too, and I actually finally figured out how to do it, and I love it, is you can hashtag strength, you hit the space down bar.
Yeah.
And you can just type in a little thing like,
text
I'm doing this.
Right, yeah.
And then it'll add in right above that, there's my results, this is what I'm doing. In one text.
So it's like, hashtag strength to make a strength check, followed by, I swing my axe at the goblin's head. So I don't have to ask, why are you making a strength check? You're telling me at the same time as making the strength check, which not only saves time, but pairing them together like that makes it easier for everyone to read through the chat and convert it into a story in their head.
Right, because if I just do a hashtag strength and you're like, well, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, I'm doing this. And you're like, well, why did you say that?
Or by breaking it apart even further. Like if I'm in my DM voice and I say like, suddenly something bursts through the door, you leap out of the way to dodge it.
Yeah.
Do I then, in my DM voice, say, everybody make a dexterity check? Or do I come out of my DM voice? Because technically, telling you guys to make a dexterity check isn't story.
Or you come out.
Do I come out of my DM voice to say make a strength check, then go back in to answer the results of the...
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's a lot. So it's a lot easier if you guys simultaneously respond with your score and what you're attempting to do, so that I don't then have to ask, oh, what are you attempting to do out of DM voice, and then go back into DM voice to give my answer to it.
Hashtag mange.
Yes, hashtag manged. Hashtag Rayleigh. Rayleigh, or Riley, or however you pronounce it, is actually the island, the sunken island, the sunken city where Cthulhu is entombed, in the middle of the South Pacific.
Mange. Would that be, if mange, does that mean I'm just throwing a knife? Melee range?
Melee range? Yeah. Well, no, mange is that thing that dogs get.
Yeah, well.
That'd be like a corrosive spell, or a poison.
Ooh.
What was I going to say? But anyways, mRPG, Great app. We used it for, I want to say a full day. Oh, I forgot to mention that when I click on my icon as the DM and I have that little extra text box, I can type in a name there and it automatically generates an NPC.
Yeah.
And it assigns that NPC a color, except instead of making their entire text box that color, it just makes the border that color, again, helping to differentiate it between an NPC and a player character.
Right.
So if it randomly assigns an NPC orange, it's not going to look like you typing.
Right.
Because it's a white box bordered.
Yeah.
And it says NPC followed by the character's name that I assigned. And then anytime after that, when I open up my little, who am I talking as tab, it lists all the NPCs I've created with colored bubbles. So I can go back and be like, oh, who was that rogue that I created yesterday that jumped you guys in the alley? And I click and oh yeah, it was Bob. Yeah, there's Bob. And I click that and I can talk as Bob again. So it helps me keep track of who I've created and who I've been playing as. So that's been really fun.
Yeah.
We were definitely overusing it. I feel like because you and Chris had the day off and I was sort of slow at work, we were on our phones for a good chunk of the day. But even if you broke it up to the DM makes a post every half an hour and then 30 minutes later both checks the results of what their characters did and makes the next post progressing the story again, I feel like
it was pretty
maybe
fun.
Everything other than combat would work like that, and you could break a game up over to a series of half an hour posts.
It's a simple little function that you can do.
Yeah, free app, really well built. It's very intuitive, I found. I mean, maybe building the character sheets and building out the macros takes a little bit of practice, but the two key things about macros I just explained, the // are for dice rolls and the colons are for attribute pull-ups.
Right.
The one thing that confused me at first, and this is before I even pulled you guys on, was I didn't know that you could switch to DM. Or I can even switch to their characters and speak in their character's voice. So if you have to take a day off and it's just me and some other people playing, I can be you and talk as you right from my thing. So I had built the macros and I was trying to run them and they weren't working. I kept getting unspecified field. And I was like, I built this thing right. What the hell's going on? And I was about to delete the app and give up. And then I realized that you can switch who you're talking as. Oh. And so I switched to a temporary character that I made and I rolled, I made a test character sheet. I switched to them and I rolled and it worked. So the issue is if you roll as the DM or as you out of character, there is no character sheet assigned to you. So when it goes to pull that attribute strength,
there's nothing there.
There's no field.
Right.
So it goes, okay, you're asking me to roll 4 fate dice and add blank. I can't do that, so error. And so I finally figured that was the one thing that hung me up. But other than that, I had the whole app up and going in 20 minutes and we played for a whole day and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was very enjoyable.
So it's in the Google Play Store. It's free. It's called mRPG. The creator, I think I've read a blog post on their website. They have a website for the game where they talk about the updates they're working on, where you can request changes. I requested a change, actually. I think I said it would be nice if I could delete old chat.
Oh, okay.
Because I was doing a ton of testing. And even once I started to add you guys in, I was doing a ton of test posts and making sure that my macros worked and everything. And then there's all that clutter inside your chat board, in between your game stuff. And I was like, it'd be great if we could go in and select an individual post and delete it. Or even select a section.
Or do it like a selection.
Yeah, here up, delete everything. When you add a player, they can only see everything from when you added them down. So they can't see old stuff. But if you continue to test things beyond there, or if randomly you have a conversation about Game of Thrones out of character, just because all of a sudden you decide, let's use this like a regular chat app when we're not using it as the game app, then you have this huge section of chats that are irrelevant. It'd be nice to be able to go and go we don't need this. Delete.
Deleted.
But really great app. The creator seems really, really interested in further building it out and working with people. He did mention that he's doing it for fun in his spare time. He's not a professional app developer, so take it easy. It's great as is, and obviously there's room for improvement, but nobody should get down on it and be like, this is broken, this sucks, or it crashed, or anything like that.
Help the little guys out.
Yeah. Somebody, you know what it was? Somebody gave him 1 star in the Play Store. And it was like, I like this app, but because it doesn't have this, I'm going to give it 1 star for now. And he responded to the comment in the rating in the Play Store, and he was like, I mean, I'm a part-time developer who's doing this for fun, who's just trying to make a good app for an RPG. A 1-star rating only really hurts me. It doesn't help.
Yeah.
And so it looks like the guy actually went and switched it 5 stars because it's a 5-star rating now, even though the review still says, I'm going to give this 1 star. And clearly that's what the creator was responding to. But again, mRPG. It's a lowercase m, not that you need to type it this way, but it's a lowercase m and then a large RPG.
Yeah.
I'll share some stuff on screen, or this is me talking to myself. Josh have shared some stuff on screen at this point.
It'll be right here.
Yeah. I'll get some screen grabs and stuff, but I might even do a little demo video on like how to build a character sheet and make some macros.
There you go.
But yeah, it's a good app. Check it out. It's a lot of fun. If you're trying to fill in some time for an RPG and you don't have time during your regular play nights, your game nights, and you don't have time during the work week, it's cool because, like I said, even if you and your friends just all take your lunch at like noon and you just play for half an hour while you're eating a sandwich or something, that's cool. Like little half an hour drive through RPG and then back to work. So yeah, that's that.
We're going to get out of here. We're going to go play some games.
We're going to go play some games. We're going to try to get in a full game of War Machine and Hordes and finally get our playtime down to 2 hours or less because right now we suck.
Yeah.
So we're just working on that. But anyways, this has been How to Roll Dice for Themeless Thursday. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I'm Josh.
I'm Bryant.
And we will see you guys next week.
Later.